and this is the kind of, this is how users responded, this is how you classify the response, and these are the broad understanding. Case study papers, use of existing methods, theories, tools, whatever. But you say that we decided to be, this was a project, we designed a banking website. This is where we started, this is where we ended. And this was the novel challenge involved in it, because even if it is a regular project, sometimes it has certain very interesting constraints. And how you overcome those constraints, it can be useful to many people. Like a client came, this was the project, but they had very small budget, and we had to do it in that constraint. So how we managed it? So, and what sort of methods you apply to manage it within that small price? So that could be an interesting case study. Methodology papers. So methodology papers generally propose new methods, new techniques of doing things, and when they do that, they also highlight the limitations of the existing methods, because there is a limitation and therefore you propose a new method or something which this cannot fulfill for a given situation. I have to suggest a new method. So theory papers, so principles, models, frameworks, concepts. So generally from academia you will have a lot of theoretical papers, because that is the kind of thing that they deal with. Overview papers, trends in a specific research domain. Like during this, I don't know if some of you were there for the IFIP conference that we did in October. So there was a paper on cultural usability. I mean, all journal papers published related to cultural usability were studied, and what are the trends, what sort of theoretical models people have used, and that was an overview paper. So papers published during 10 years have been studied, and certain understanding is developed. So generally, when you publish papers, the value of the worth of publishing or the value attached to the publication is also very important, which I thought I should mention. Technical journals. So publishing in technical journals is supposed to be really the highest value, and within the journals there are A, B, C class of journals. So it's important that the final thing should be getting it into the journal, because journals are seen as one important aspect of body of knowledge in that domain. So when you say body of knowledge, you look at these journals. These are the 50 volumes published in last, and all those who have contributed in that is the body of knowledge. Okay, so that's the meaning that is derived. Book chapters, I mean, there are technical books. Okay, so you could publish there. Proceedings of conference, workshops, symposiums. Proceedings are also valued, but again it depends on what kind of conference it was, what level of reviewing, how rigorous the reviewing process was. Okay, was it a national level conference or an international level conference? So depending on that, people attach value to it, and that's how people evaluate it. Online journals. There are now a lot of online journals. There are a lot of open access publications which are available, because the most prestigious publishers which are there, they have digital libraries, and once your paper is gone there, I mean, only those who have subscription right can access those papers, otherwise you don't get access to it. So open access is something which is nowadays encouraged, even particularly in Europe, they are encouraging publication in open journals, rather than putting it in very, very high class journals, but it's all locked up, and and very few people can access that material. So let's go into an understanding, a small walkthrough of, what do I do so that I have something which is worth writing as a research paper, So a research paper, So we have a researcher here. Okay. So generally, this is a research paper. I mean, this may not be directly linked with a project. It may or may not be. Okay. So he has certain observations and he has certain experience. So based on that experience, generally your intuition takes over, and it shows you a potential opportunity where, a research could be carried out and some interesting findings could be derived. Okay. So from that, a hypothesis is developed. Okay. So hypothesis may or may not be true. It has to be validated, it has to be tested, it has to be experimented. And so that hypothesis is essentially the potential topic of research, Like for example, last year I published a paper, it was in a Nordica